Hello. I'm James, and I live in Manchester in the UK. And you're listening to English with a Brew, a podcast where I talk about different day-to-day topics to help you learn English the most natural way possible. And that is only by listening to it. If you want to support this podcast, read transcripts, and get exclusive access to more content, go to patreon.com/English with a Brew. So, as we say in Manchester, get a brew on and let's get started. Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. Last weekend, the weekend that has just passed, I went to Scotland, and in Scotland I spent time with my friends and we went walking or hiking up some mountains, and I rode my bicycle a lot, and I had a fantastic time. And so I thought it would be interesting to make an episode where I talk about the country, Scotland. Scotland is one of the 4 countries in the United Kingdom, or the UK, and the country is in the north of the UK, above England. Scotland's flag is blue, with a white cross, and the capital city of Scotland is Edinburgh. But the city with the largest population, the largest number of people that live there, is Glasgow. And some of the other bigger cities in Scotland are Aberdeen and Dundee. Scotland is a country, but because it's part of the United Kingdom, anyone from the UK can visit Scotland whenever they like. They can cross the border without a passport. There is no physical border between England and Scotland. You can just walk over it or drive over it without a problem. However, it's important to remember that all of the countries in the UK are in fact different countries. For example, Scotland has its own government that can make its own laws about particular things, and these are called devolved powers. And Scotland also has its own political leader called a First Minister. But some laws on certain issues or topics are still created by the centralised UK government, and so all of the countries in the UK follow some of the same laws. Geographically, Scotland is known for its beautiful mountains, beautiful valleys, and amazing views and scenery. Scotland has the tallest mountain in the UK, which is called Ben Nevis, and Ben Nevis is 1,345 metres tall. The whole of the northwest of Scotland is full of impressive tall mountains. And beyond those mountains, off the west coast of Scotland, there are lots of beautiful islands with amazing beaches, more mountains, and other incredible scenery. They look like they should be the home of dragons or some other type of mythical creature. One island in particular, which is called the Isle of Harris, is particularly beautiful. It's stunning. And one of the reasons is that it has beaches where the sand is almost pure white. Although these days, if you go to Scotland, if you visit Scotland, the language you will hear being spoken the most is English. But Scotland actually has 3 indigenous languages: English, Gaelic, and Scots. And some people still speak and understand Gaelic or Scots today. For example, about 60,000 people can speak Scottish Gaelic, which is a little more than only 1% of the population. And those speakers, the people that speak Scottish Gaelic, are concentrated, there is more of them, in the northwest of Scotland and on the islands that I have already mentioned, like the Isle of Harris. What about food in Scotland? And while many of the foods in Scotland are the same as the rest of the UK, there are some dishes or plates that are unique to Scotland or eaten more common. In fact, there are lots, but in this episode, I'm going to talk about just two. The first is perhaps the most iconic, and that is haggis. And haggis is a type of pudding or a kind of crumbly sausage. It is made with, and it sounds a little weird, but it's made with the organs of a sheep, like the heart, lungs, and liver. And they are chopped up and mixed with some vegetables like onion and some spices to add flavour. And then finally, all of that is put inside the stomach of the sheep, and then it is cooked. As I said, it sounds a little strange, a little weird, but it's actually very popular and genuinely quite good. Another food, or maybe a snack that Scotland is known for, is shortbread, which is a type of sweet biscuit that is made with lots of butter and sugar. And finally, I'm going to leave you with two expressions that you can use if you want to sound a little bit more Scottish. The first is to describe the weather, specifically on a windy day, a day where there is lots of wind. You could say, it's blowing a hoolie today. And the second is, if you see a friend or someone you know, and they look a little bit ill, a little bit sick, maybe their skin is a little pale, and they look a bit weak, you can say, "Hey, are you okay? You're looking a bit peely-wally." That's everything for today's episode of English with a Brew. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you did or if you didn't, and tell me what topics you'd like to hear me talk about in future episodes. And don't forget, if you want to support this podcast and get access to all of the exclusive episodes, you can do that on my Patreon page. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day, morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time it is where you are right now. Take care.